Bills Mafia, the defense you knew for the last 9 years, is officially gone, and what's replacing it might be exactly what this team needed all along. Buffalo's brand new defensive coordinator just stepped up to the podium ahead of the preseason opener, and he did not hold back. We're talking scheme changes, rookie battles, a wild story about a receiver core that just will not go away. And even a few words about what it's actually like standing across from Josh Allen every single day in practice. If you're a Bills fan, you need to hear every word of this, so let's get right into it. For nearly a decade, Buffalo's defense had one identity, built and maintained by Sean McDermott himself. But when McDermott was let go and Joe Brady was promoted to head coach, everybody in Western New York knew big changes were coming on that side of the ball. Brady wasted no time either. He went out and hired Jim Leonhard, a former Bills safety-turned-respected defensive mind, fresh off a stint as the Denver Broncos defensive passing game coordinator, to completely rebuild this unit from the ground up. And based on everything Leonhard said heading into Buffalo's first preseason game against the Carolina Panthers, this defense is going to look nothing like what fans are used to. Let's start with the obvious question everybody wants answered. How much are the starters actually going to play in preseason game 1? In years past, teams have leaned toward resting their top guys and playing it safe. But Leonhard made it clear that's not exactly the approach this time around. He said the plan is for his players to go out there, get a real taste of the new scheme in a live setting, and honestly, just let it rip. Now, he was careful to note that exactly how many snaps each starter gets is still being finalized, but the overall message was simple. This is preseason game 1, it's meant to be straightforward, and Leonhard wants to see who can actually go out there, execute, and finish plays the way every team around the league is doing schematically right now. After all the practices, all the padded sessions, and all the physical battles in camp, Leonhard admitted he's genuinely excited for his group to stop hitting each other and finally get another jersey in front of them. Now here's where things get really interesting for Bills fans, because Leonhard didn't just talk in generalities. He went position by position, breaking down some of the most important storylines heading into the 2026 season. First up, rookie edge rusher TJ Parker. Every young player goes through ups and downs as they adjust to the speed of the NFL, and Leonhard was refreshingly honest about that reality. He said Parker is riding that typical rookie wave, learning a ton of new information and getting thrown into all kinds of different situations. But according to Leonhard, Parker has attacked every part of that process exactly the right way. The red and blue scrimmage, the first event held at the brand new Highmark Stadium, gave the coaching staff a great gauge on how Parker handles pressure, because that event had everything. A massive crowd, a lot of noise, a lot of excitement, and a heavy dose of nervous energy for players experiencing Highmark Stadium as a Bill for the very first time. Leonhard said the coaching staff learned a great deal from watching Parker in that atmosphere, and they plan to keep pushing him and the rest of the young core to take the next step. Then there's the cornerback situation, which might be one of the most fascinating subplots of the entire training camp. With second-year corner Maxwell Hairston banged up over the last several practices, rookie Davison Igbinosun has stepped directly into that void, and by every account he is not backing down from the opportunity. Leonhard didn't mince words here. He said Igbinosun wants it. The rookie is pushing hard for real snaps, challenging receivers every single day, and showing a strong command of the defense without making a lot of mental mistakes. According to Leonhard, the next challenge for Igbinosun isn't just staying consistent, it's making winning plays, getting his hands on footballs, creating turnovers, and actually impacting winnable moments in games. If Hairston's injury issues linger even a little bit longer, don't be surprised if Igbinosun forces his way into a much bigger role than anyone outside the building expected heading into camp. Communication was another massive theme of Leonhard's press conference, especially when it comes to the back end of the defense. He praised his safety and corner group for talking extremely well as a unit, saying there's no weak link, nobody who requires extra communication because they're hung up on assignments. That might sound like a small detail, but Leonhard was clear about why it matters so much. Anytime players rotate in and out of the lineup, it stresses the whole group out. Because voices sound different, disguises look different, and suddenly the whole defense has to adjust on the fly. Buffalo wants their starting 11 out there every week, of course, but injuries happen in the NFL. And Leonhard said this camp has revealed exactly who the true lead communicators are within that group. And speaking of leadership on the back end, Leonhard had high praise for safety Damar Hamlin. He described Hamlin as a guy with awesome professional habits, someone who is locked in and plays with urgency in absolutely everything he does. Leonhard even went as far as saying Hamlin might be a better athlete than he gets credit for around the league, because he plays with such consistency and clearly understands exactly what he can and can't do on the field. That self-awareness, according to Leonhard, is exactly why Hamlin has been so steady throughout camp. And just like with Igbinosun, the next step for Hamlin is simple. Go impact the game. Go take the ball away. Hamlin already forced a turnover during the red and blue scrimmage, and Leonhard made it clear that's the kind of production he wants to see multiplied as the season approaches. Buffalo's defensive front got some love too. Specifically defensive lineman T.J. Sanders, who Leonhard says has adapted to this new scheme about as well as anybody on the roster. Sanders isn't just playing one role either. He's being moved around to multiple spots on the defensive line, both in the base package and in nickel situations, and Leonhard says he's playing at a high level in nearly all of them. Everybody around the building already knew Sanders had legitimate pass rush ability, but Leonhard specifically pointed to his improving physicality as one of the biggest developments of camp. Because Sanders is what Leonhard calls a swing piece, he's not necessarily stacking up the same rep volume as some of the other starters, but Leonhard says he's handling that role beautifully, understanding exactly how the scheme benefits him and taking full advantage of it. Then there's Andre Jones Jr., a name that flew a little bit under the radar heading into camp, but is quickly turning heads with his pass rush ability. Leonhard called Jones a mature player who has grown tremendously since the very first day of the offseason program. He's physical, he's fast, and according to Leonhard, he's done an excellent job both defending the run and rushing the passer. With so much talent and physicality packed into Buffalo's pass rush room, Leonhard says the real question now is who separates from the pack, and Jones is putting himself firmly in that conversation. Now here's the part that should genuinely worry opposing offenses. Leonhard was blunt about what he wants to see most from his defense in preseason Game 1, and it's not flashy blitzes or complicated coverages, it's physicality up front and tackling. Real, live, game-speed tackling. Leonhard explained that throughout an entire training camp, quarterbacks never actually get hit, which means as camp rolls along, offenses naturally start to gain the upper hand because the quarterback gets more comfortable seeing the same defensive looks over and over. Preseason games change all of that. Suddenly, there are real consequences, real contact, and real opportunities to evaluate whether Buffalo's defense can actually finish plays instead of just getting close. Leonhard pointed directly to missed tackles as a major issue for this defense last season, and he says the fix starts with what he calls population to the football, meaning more than one defender flying to the ball on every single play. According to Leonhard, that effort and that gang tackling mentality is, in his words, the biggest piece of the whole equation. Because scheme is scheme, but if you can't get people on the ground, nothing else really matters. Leonhard also touched on the balancing act every new coordinator has to figure out, and that's how aggressive to actually be. He said you can't just pressure the quarterback for the sake of pressuring the quarterback. If a blitz doesn't get home, the coverage behind it is left exposed, and Leonhard was refreshingly candid about the fact that there's no magic analytics number or perfect blitz percentage that solves that problem. Instead, he says it comes down to understanding the identity, the DNA, as he called it, of the players actually on his roster. Some guys thrive being ultra-aggressive. Others need a more measured approach. Leonhard says he's still gathering that information in real time throughout camp, and it won't be until the games start counting for real that he fully locks in exactly how aggressive this defense is going to be. One of the most entertaining moments of the entire press conference came when Leonhard was asked about facing Josh Allen every single day in practice, and honestly, his answer says everything you need to know about why Bills fans should be excited for this offense heading into the season. Leonhard called Allen one of the ultimate gamers in football. Someone who knows exactly how to elevate the intensity of a random Tuesday practice rep and turn it into a 2-minute fourth-down championship-level moment. He specifically brought up a play from the red and blue scrimmage, a signature Josh Allen throw to wide receiver Khalil Shakir, where Allen actually signaled a route change on the fly and delivered a strike with pinpoint placement. Leonhard admitted it stresses his defense out on a daily basis, but he was quick to add that he's genuinely thrilled Allen is on his side of the roster rather than an opponent's. That's the kind of quote that should make every Bills fan feel pretty good about where this offense stands heading into 2026. Of course, Leonhard is also thinking bigger picture beyond just this single preseason game. As a brand new coordinator implementing an entirely new system, he explained there's a real balancing act between installing his full defensive identity and not showing too much of his hand before the regular season actually starts. He pointed out that there is a genuine advantage to being a first-year coordinator, because opposing teams can only piece together so much from film of his previous stops at Wisconsin and with the Denver Broncos. They'll have some clues, sure, but Leonhard made clear he's holding plenty of cards close to the vest heading into that Week 1 matchup, whatever and whoever that opponent turns out to be. That mystery factor alone could give Buffalo's defense a real edge early in the season before opposing offensive coordinators have enough tape to fully solve what Leonhard is building. So here's where things stand for Bills Mafia heading into preseason Game 1 against the Carolina Panthers. A brand new defensive coordinator with a clear attacking vision. A rookie edge rusher in TJ Parker learning on the fly. A cornerback battle heating up with Davison Igbinosun pushing hard while Maxwell Hairston works his way back to full health. A safety room led by a locked-in professional Damar Hamlin. A versatile difference maker in TJ Sanders up front. A breakout pass rusher in Andre Jones Jr. turning heads. And an offense led by Josh Allen that even Buffalo's own defensive coordinator admits gives him nightmares in practice. This is a Buffalo Bills team in the middle of a genuine transformation, and how this defense responds in these preseason snaps could tell us an awful lot about how far this team can go once the games actually start to count. So, Bills Mafia, we want to know what you think. Are you buying into Jim Leonhard's new attacking defense, or do you need to see it against real competition before you get excited? Which player are you most looking forward to watching in this preseason opener? TJ Parker, Davison Igbinosun, or somebody else entirely? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. We read every single one of them. And if you want to stay locked in on everything happening with the Buffalo Bills all season long, do us a favor and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We'll be back very soon with more Buffalo Bills news. Until then, Bills Mafia, let's go Buffalo!